December. For many, it feels like the end of the story, the last page of a book, the final chapter closing. But what if December is not an ending? What if it is the beginning of something new? Think of a storm. It shakes your world, rattles the windows, and strips away what is weak. But storms also clear the air. They leave the ground fresh, ready for growth. December can be that kind of storm, not to break you, but to prepare you for a new season of strength. Elon Musk once faced a December that nearly destroyed Tesla. Reporters said it was over. The company was in what Musk called production hell. But instead of treating the storm as defeat, he treated it as a test. Out of that storm came breakthroughs that changed Tesla forever. And this is not just for billionaires. Robert, 67, once dreaded December. It was cold, lonely, and full of regret. But then he made one small change. He began writing down one action each day. By January, he wasn't just surviving. He felt like he was launching a rocket, a mission for his own life. December will test you. But if you are ready, it can also lift you higher than you've ever been before. We are told that December is a time of joy. The commercials show warm families, laughter, music, lights. The message is clear: December is supposed to be the happiest time of the year. But that is the lie society tells. Because for many seniors, December is not joy, it is silence. It is the reminder that another year has passed, and not everything has gone as planned. It is the month when the chair at the table is empty. It is when health feels weaker, dreams feel further away, and memories press harder. Robert knew that feeling well. At 67, after retiring, he thought December would be a time of rest. But instead, he felt restless. The calendar looked heavy, filled with blank days. His tree stood in the living room, but it felt more like a mirror, reflecting not cheer, but loneliness. While the world celebrated, Robert counted regrets. This is what December does. It acts like a storm. A storm does not ask permission. It simply arrives, ripping at the roof, shaking the walls. And when it comes, it shows you every weakness you tried to ignore. That is why December feels so hard. It is not the decorations or the songs. It is the storm that strips away your defenses and leaves you with the truth. Elon Musk once said that the darkest storms are not there to end you, but to reveal what must be fixed. During Tesla's crisis, he discovered which parts of the factory were fragile, which systems were broken. It was painful. It was exhausting. But without that December storm, Tesla would not have survived. The same is true for us. December is not here to shame you. It is here to show you. It reveals where you are fragile. It points to the parts of your life that need strength. The storm is not your enemy. It is your teacher. But here is the hope: storms also prepare the ground for growth. After the rain, the soil is richer. After the wind, the air is clearer. After the storm, you are not the same, you are stronger. So let me ask you, what is your December storm? For Robert, it was loneliness. For Susan, it was silence. For Karen, it was her health. For Gloria, it was the fear of leaving nothing behind. Each storm looks different, but each one carries the same choice: to hide from it, or to face it. Your micro-action today: take a piece of paper. Write down your storm. Give it a name. Is it regret? Is it health? Is it isolation? Write it clearly. Because until you name the storm, you cannot prepare to face it. And once you name it, you will see it is not unbeatable. When Elon Musk faced December during Tesla's toughest years, it wasn't about lights, music, or holiday comfort. It was about survival. In late 2017, Tesla was in what Musk himself called production hell. The company had promised to deliver thousands of Model 3 cars. Customers were waiting. Investors were nervous. But the factory lines weren't ready. Machines broke down. Schedules fell apart. Each day brought new delays. Newspapers predicted bankruptcy. Analysts said Tesla's dream was finished. that December storm was merciless. Employees worked long nights. Musk himself slept on the factory floor. He said he wanted to be there, to feel the pain, to fix problems one by one. For him, December was not a holiday, it was a storm that tested every weakness of Tesla. And yet, out of that storm came strength. Systems were rebuilt. Production lines were corrected. Tesla didn't die, it grew. Now let's look at a different December. Susan was 72, living alone in Ohio. She had lost her husband years earlier. Her children lived in other states. She had health, she had food, but her house felt empty. December came, and the silence was louder than the Christmas music on the radio. She saw families gathering on television, but her own home was still. Her storm wasn't money or machines. It was loneliness. And loneliness can feel heavier than bankruptcy. It can drain your energy, your hope, your will. But like Musk, Susan made a choice. She could let December break her, or she could treat it as a test. One afternoon, she saw a flyer at the library, Computer Basics for Seniors, free class. She almost threw it away. I'm too old for this, she thought. But something inside whispered, try. She went. She sat nervously in front of the screen. At first, she typed slowly, fingers stiff. She felt clumsy. But the teacher was patient. Week by week, Susan learned. By the end of that December, she was video calling her grandchildren every Sunday. The house was still quiet, but her heart was full. Do you see the pattern? Elon Musk used his storm to rebuild Tesla. Susan used her storm to rebuild her connection with family. The storm didn't end their story, it opened a new chapter. This is how storms work. They don't ask what you prefer. They strip away comfort. They force you to act. You can sink, or you can steer. Think of life like a river. If you sit still in your boat, the current will take you wherever it wants. Sometimes into shallow waters. Sometimes into rocks. Sometimes into regret. But if you pick up an oar, even a small one, you can steer. Slowly, clumsily at first, but you can steer. December is that river. If you do nothing, it carries you deeper into regret. But if you take even one oar in your hand, you change direction. Your micro-action today, choose one oar. One small action. Maybe it's calling someone you miss. Maybe it's writing down a single goal. Maybe it's learning one new skill, like Susan. Write it down. Because in the storm, it's not the size of your boat that matters. It's whether you pick up the oar and row. During Tesla's hardest December, Elon Musk didn't think in years or even months. He thought in hours. He broke down the storm into pieces he could handle. He would sleep a few hours on the factory floor, wake up, and spend the next hour fixing just one problem. Then the next hour, another problem. Not everything at once, just one at a time. This is the principle I call the 1-hour rule. It's simple, but powerful. You don't need to rebuild your entire life in a single day. You don't need to solve every regret at once. You don't need to carry decades of weight on your shoulders. What you need is 1 hour. 1 hour that belongs only to you, 1 hour you protect, 1 hour that becomes the seed of change. Think of a rocket launch. From the outside, it looks sudden, fire, smoke, and thunder as the rocket rises. But behind that moment is something far less dramatic, a launch sequence. A series of small steps, one button pressed, one switch flipped, one system checked. Each step alone looks tiny, almost meaningless. But together, they create enough force to break gravity. Your December storm works the same way. It may feel impossible to change everything at once. You can't silence every fear, erase every regret, or fix every habit in a single day. But you can set aside 1 hour. And in that hour, you choose. You choose not to drift. You choose not to surrender. You choose to press one button in your launch sequence. Robert discovered this when he began writing one action per day. Susan discovered this when she spent 1 hour a week learning to use her computer. Neither of them felt like heroes in the moment. But each small action was a switch flipped, a button pressed. And slowly, their rockets began to rise. The 1-hour rule works because it removes excuses. You don't need to wait for New Year's. You don't need to be younger, richer, or stronger. Everyone has 1 hour. Everyone can press one button in their launch sequence. The storm may be strong, but your hour is stronger than you think. Imagine the possibilities. 1 hour of writing down your memories could become the first chapter of a family history. 1 hour of walking could be the start of better health. 1 hour of calling someone you miss could heal years of silence. 1 hour today may look small, but it may launch a whole new orbit tomorrow. The storm tells you it's too late. The storm tells you you're too weak. But the storm is lying. 1 hour is enough to push back. 1 hour is enough to begin. Your micro-action today: take your calendar, paper or digital, and mark 1 hour this week. Circle it. Protect it. That hour is your launch sequence. Use it for something that matters to you. Because when you claim 1 hour, you don't just survive December. You ignite your future. Karen was 70 when her December storm arrived. It wasn't loneliness, and it wasn't regret. Her storm was her health. At her annual checkup, the doctor looked at her gently and said, "Karen, if you don't make changes, the next few years will be hard. Your heart is weaker than it should be." She went home in shock. December had always been the month of cookies, parties, and comfort food. But that year, she sat at her table, staring at the doctor's words written on a small slip of paper. It felt like thunder had rolled through her life. At first, she wanted to hide. "I'm too old," she thought. "It's too late." That's what storms make you believe, that you cannot recover, that the rain will never stop. But Karen decided to try something small. She began walking for 10 minutes each morning. Just 10. She told herself, "I can do 10 minutes." By the end of December, she could walk 20. By March, she signed up for a community race. By the following December, Karen, at age 71, crossed the finish line of a half marathon. The storm had shaken her, but beyond the storm came a rainbow. That's what storms do. They don't last forever. They clear the sky. They open space for light. And the rainbow that follows is not a sign of weakness, but of survival. December is not the end of your story. It can be the window of opportunity, a chance to begin again. Not in January, not someday, but now. Each December storm is an invitation. The question is, will you accept it? To make it practical, here's a simple tool: the 31-day plan. Take the month ahead, whether it's December or the start of a new year, and write down one small action for each day. Not a giant resolution. Not a promise you can't keep. Just one thing each day. Day 1, walk 10 minutes. Day 2, call a friend. Day 3, write down one memory. Day 4, try a new recipe. 31 days, 31 steps. Think of it like laying bricks for a bridge. Each day's action is just one brick. Alone, it looks small. But after 31 days, you've built a bridge strong enough to carry you into a new season. Karen's rainbow didn't appear in one day. It came after weeks of small steps, after she laid brick after brick. And when she looked back, she realized she had built something she once thought impossible. Your micro-action today: write down one action for tomorrow. Just one. Something you can do in 10 minutes or less. That is your first brick. That is the first color in your rainbow. Do it tomorrow, then another the next day. Because the storm will pass, and the rainbow is waiting. Gloria was 75 when her December storm came. It wasn't health, and it wasn't loneliness. Her storm was fear, not of dying, but of disappearing. She sat in her quiet living room one December evening, watching her grandchildren play on the floor. They laughed, but she felt a shadow in her heart. She wondered, when I'm gone, what will they really remember about me? Would they remember the meals she cooked? The gifts she gave? Or would her life fade, like snow melting on the ground. That fear weighed heavy. It was her storm, the fear of leaving nothing behind. But storms have a way of pushing us toward truth. Gloria realized she didn't need to leave money, houses, or treasures. What she could leave was far more powerful: wisdom, stories, lessons that could guide her grandchildren long after she was gone. So she began. Each December evening, she sat with a notebook. She wrote down one memory, one story, one lesson. Sometimes just a paragraph. Sometimes a page. Over weeks, the notebook filled. By the end of winter, she had a small book of her life, her storms, her victories, her faith. Her grandchildren read it years later. They laughed, they cried, and they learned. And Gloria's storm, the fear of fading, became her legacy. This is the hidden power of storms. They strip us down, yes. They test us, yes. But they also give us the chance to plant seeds that will outlast us. Elon Musk understands this too. Every failure he faced, rockets exploding, cars delayed, critics shouting, could have been the end. But he treated failure as experiment. Each mistake became a lesson, each storm a test. That is why he kept going, and why his work outlives the storms around him. Gloria's notebook was not a bestseller. It wasn't meant to be. It was her rocket, a vehicle to carry her wisdom past the pole of time. And every senior has that same rocket waiting to launch. You may not build cars or colonize Mars. But you can leave behind something just as powerful: your stories, your values, your lessons. For your children. For your grandchildren. For the community that needs your voice. Think of your December storm as the soil. It feels cold, hard, even empty. But if you plant seeds in it, small acts of writing, teaching, sharing, spring will come. And in spring, your seeds become harvest. Gloria turned her storm into seeds. And her harvest was a legacy of wisdom. Your micro-action today: take a notebook or open a blank page on your computer. Write down one memory. Just one. It could be about your childhood, about your hardest challenge, about your proudest moment. Write it in your own words. Don't wait until it's perfect. Don't wait until later. Write one today. Because that page may become the most valuable gift you ever give. December has always carried two sides. On one side, it can feel like an ending. Cold. Heavy. Silent. On the other, it can be a beginning, a storm that clears the air, a window of opportunity to rise again. Think back to the stories we've walked through together. Robert faced loneliness, but his storm taught him to start small, one action a day. Susan faced silence, but her storm pushed her to learn something new and connect with her family again. Karen faced the storm of health, and from it came the rainbow of a new life, running across finish lines she once thought impossible. Gloria faced the storm of legacy, and her fear of fading became the spark to write down her wisdom for the next generation. And Elon Musk, his storms nearly ended Tesla. But he treated them as tests, as experiments. And from those storms came breakthroughs that shaped the future. Now, here's the truth: December will test you, too. It may not be cars or companies. It may be loneliness. It may be health. It may be regret. But every storm carries the same choice. One path is to hide, to let the storm decide for you, to drift down the river of regret. The other path is to row, to face the storm, to claim 1 hour, to lay one brick, to plant one seed, to write one page. To take the small actions that build into a launch sequence for the rest of your life. So I ask you, which path will you choose? Because the storm is coming, whether you're ready or not. And December will ask you, just like it asked Robert, Susan, Karen, Gloria, and Musk, are you ready?